No, you are not losing your mind. No, you do not have to live with all of these symptoms that are making your day-to-day life miserable. Hey everyone, today's video is a little bit of a departure from my normal clothing hauls and outfit pics. Today actually isn't really so much about me, although I'm going to be sharing my personal story here, but it's about you. And the reason that it's about you is because over the past year and a half, so many of you have reached out to me privately via DM or email or even comments on my YouTube videos publicly, lamenting about your lack of access to good menopausal care. So today's video is sponsored by Midi Health, and I have been using Midi Health as my online menopausal care provider. I think it's been a year and a half now, since the minute it became available in Texas. But before we get to that part, I think we need to back up a little bit and we need to talk about why and where I am with menopause and all of that stuff. For those of you that are new here, hi, my name is Marnie. I am 51 years old. I turned 51 in March, and I am in menopause. And I have been noticing symptoms of menopause for years, or premenopause, and ignored them for a really long time. I just thought it was a natural part of aging. But a few things started to escalate. And I've talked about these things in previous videos, and you may notice that I have taken all of my health-related videos down. And we're gonna get to why and why this video is working out so perfectly to fill that gap in a little bit. But bear with me, there is an arc to this story. So I consider myself a pretty confident, self-assured person. And while I was experiencing things like mood swings, some slow but steady weight gain, not being able to sleep through the night, what really made me step back and take notice that something wasn't right was all of a sudden I was getting basically full-on panic attacks. They started maybe a couple times a year, so I didn't think about it too much, right about when I was 46 years old. But right around 48, 49 especially, it became almost a weekly occurrence. And there was no rhyme or reason to it. I wouldn't even have anxiety attacks or panic attacks over things that made sense in the light of day, but in the middle of the night, my heart would be racing, I'd have the shakes, I would have extreme, let's just say, digestive discomfort from both ends. And it was really interfering with my ability to function during the day. So I started doing some Googling because, of course, Google is the great resource for all medical advice. And what I found through my Google research was that all of these symptoms that I was experiencing, including anxiety/panic attacks, were all considered part of perimenopause, premenopause, menopause. Why didn't I know this? I don't know. I do now, thank goodness. Anyway, through a random series of events, I ended up following quite a few board-certified OBGYNs over on Instagram, and one of them was talking about Midi Health. And she wasn't just talking about this new virtual care clinic that focuses on the needs of perimenopausal and menopausal women. She was talking about all the things about menopause that somehow none of us have been educated about that were affecting me daily. And I'm talking about things like hot flashes and night sweats, which, knock on wood, I actually have not really experienced. Weight and body changes. Most of us experience more of a weight gain, but sometimes the alternative. Brain fog, memory lapses. I thought I was just so busy and maybe just getting older that there was a reason why I would walk into a room and forget why I was there. We all know those things. Moodiness, well, I mean, you know, kind of always moody. The trouble sleeping was new. I never had a hard time falling asleep, but my eyeballs would just pop open anywhere from 1 to 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just could not go back to sleep, and I would have racing thoughts, and then eventually I'd fall asleep at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, but then have to be up again at 7. So it was an endless cycle of being tired, overtired, anxious about, am I gonna sleep through the night, that kind of thing. I'm sure a few of you watching can probably relate. Another one that I've talked about extensively here over the years is hair loss, hair thinning. That also caused me quite a bit of personal anxiety. Joint pain, lack of interest in sex. It's something that we don't like to talk about openly, but it is definitely something we should be aware of that is not normal. So when I found this woman online talking about all of these things and this virtual care clinic that would address it, I was like, I'm in, sign me up. However, at the time, they weren't available in the state of Texas. So I did the next best thing. I did more research and found a new OBGYN that was supposed to be certified in menopausal health. I had to wait 3 months to get into an appointment. It was a 15-minute appointment, most of which, to be fair, was taken up with the breast exam, the pap smear, that kind of thing. And then it was 3 quick minutes on anything else going on in your life, and I tried to explain all these menopausal symptoms. She recommended that I go on antidepressants and prescribed me oral estrogen and sent me on my way. In my heart, I just knew something wasn't right. And since I figured it was all pretty much hormonal related, I am lucky in some ways that I have a chronic medical condition called Hashimotos hypothyroidism. It's an autoimmune disease that's treated by an endocrinologist. And what do endocrinologists specialize in? Hormones, among other things. So I made an appointment with my endocrinologist. He ran some labs, particularly noted that my cholesterol had shot up, my blood pressure was higher than usual, and my antibodies for Hashimoto's was creeping up as well. Well, it had actually skyrocketed. And he recommended that I do find a specialist in menopause and women's issues because he was pretty convinced that before he started tinkering with my thyroid medication, I should talk about hormone replacement therapy and take a look at that. Now, this is where Midi Health comes in. I sincerely feel that all things happen for a reason, and all of these delays, how long it took me to get into that absolutely useless gynecologist appointment and then to go see my endocrinologist, by the time all this had passed, Midi was actually available in my state, which is Texas, and they accept my healthcare insurance. More on those details in a minute. I immediately sat down on my computer, made an online appointment with a clinician, and I was immediately blown away by the intensity of the intake questionnaire. Definitely set aside some time to answer it. It goes over every minute detail of your physical, mental, and sexual health. Things I had never thought about myself, things I had to sit back and think about in a good way. They really want to know all the things that are going on. So I had not even seen my clinician yet, and I'm thinking, wow. I was feeling very, not even cautiously optimistic, just optimistic. Now, I am not here to tell you exactly what medications that they put me on. I will tell you the general idea because I think it's really important that you not get medical advice from a fashion influencer. And yes, I feel like I've done a lot of research and I feel like I know more maybe than the average person does about these things, but I am not qualified to give you that specific advice because I don't know you. I don't know your medical history. I don't know your current situation. I don't know what medications or supplements you're already on. Everyone is so uniquely different. Just to give you a general example, oral estrogen, which was what my in-person gynecologist prescribed to me, is actually contraindicated for people who take thyroid medication. The two do not work together. So I don't want to tell you to go ahead and take something that actually might be harmful or does not work for you at all. So I'm not going to get into the details of what I am personally taking that has absolutely changed my life for the better, but I'm going to give you some general insights. But what I'm specifically giving you is the person to whom you can speak who will get you on that path, and that is Midi Health. And I've been recommending them pretty much since the day that, no, actually before I myself was actually able to sign up. I have been sending y'all, whenever you ask me for recommendations on a medical provider for this particular issue, I have been sending you the DMs and the emails and even answering you in the comments. It was just some strange serendipity that brought this sponsored video to you. And I am so thrilled that I'm able to sit here and talk to you more in depth about it. So let's get back to my little menopausal medical journey. So I last left it with, I'd seen my endocrinologist. He told me to go see a menopausal specialist. I set up my appointment with Midi. The availability of appointments was astonishing. I did not have to wait 3 months. I can't remember now. I mean, it's been almost 2 years, but I think it was within a week or two max that I had my appointment set up, filled out that huge questionnaire, and then we talked. And the appointment, I believe, was initially for 30 minutes, and she stayed on the call with me, it's a video call, for close to an hour. And I have seen that same, she happens to be a nurse practitioner, I have seen her every single time, every follow-up, and the follow-ups, we can get into pricing in a minute. I think everything sort of depends on how you are paying. Another thing I absolutely love about Midi Health and just really works with how I look at the world, they tell you the costs up front. Just like I put the prices to all the things I'm sharing with you on screen so you know, you don't have to go digging through, the description box, or I'm not sneaky about it, make you click the link so I can get your cookie to go find out how much something costs. Midi tells you up front. So you have the option of either filing through your insurance, but they tell you what your copay is right up front, or you can choose to pay out of pocket and they list all the costs. So you know before you even make that appointment what it's gonna cost you out of pocket. How the whole healthcare field doesn't do this, I do not know, but that in of itself is enough recommendation. Anyway, you book your appointment online. It's a video call, and I think my initial appointment may have been scheduled for 30 minutes, but we definitely went at least 45 minutes. I mean, we were just talking, we were connecting, it was amazing. And obviously your treatment plan is going to be very specific to what you need, and they're gonna tweak it. We met, I think, every 6 weeks for a little bit. I personally decided to start HRT, and that is a personal choice. It is not always a medically good choice for some people, and so they have alternatives to HRT. They have a wide array of resources and recommendations depending on your personal health history, your medical conditions, pre-existing, all those things, which is amazing. We've talked about my hair issues. As you can see, it is growing in quite nicely. She did prescribe some medications for that. We talked about my anxiety and my cholesterol. Like I said, I personally decided to go on the HRT route, and within 30 days of starting it, have not had a panic or anxiety attack. My cholesterol dropped, I can't remember the exact number. I think it was 60 or 80 points. My blood pressure dropped from high to low normal, and my joint pain has gone away. And I have been able to drop one of my thyroid medications. Now, that's not all because of HRT. Some of that definitely has to do with some weight loss that I have experienced in connection with the HRT and some other changes in how I eat. And I know that I haven't given y'all specifics on how I lost weight for a reason. It's because things are so personal. It's because we all have unique and very interesting pre-existing conditions, medical histories, relationships with weight and food. It would be, I feel, irresponsible for someone who has zero medical background to tell you what to do. But what I can give you is access to someone who is qualified to give you that advice. So yes, they specialize in general women's health and specifically hormone issues and menopausal issues, but they also can help you with weight loss or weight gain. It, I guess, kind of depends what you need. And maybe that's one of those, what are they, I can never say it right, semaglutide. Maybe it's a different way of eating or a way of incorporating exercise. They're going to tailor it to what you need. They can address your hair issues. They can address sexual health issues. I'm a little bit of a prude. I don't want to get into that, but you can get into it with your clinician. Now, this is a virtual care situation, but they are not constrained by the lack of them physically being there. They can order labs. She's ordered me mammograms, get bone density scans. They can coordinate with a physical lab in your area to put in any kind of labs, blood work, etc. that you might need. And they can even work in tandem with your actual OBGYN or family practitioner if that's what you would prefer. So it's really neat how the whole thing works. So I don't want to get hyperbolic and say, Midi saved my life, but finding Midi and setting up that appointment absolutely saved my sanity, if nothing else. I don't think I could have gone on like that. Not sleeping most nights, having panic attacks weekly, if not multiple times a night. It's not a way to live. And I thank God through some strange coincidence of events, from doing the Google research to finding a doctor online who was talking about Midi to getting delays in my own healthcare to the point where it was actually finally available in Texas when I was looking for it. It just all kind of worked out. So I'm hoping that one of you watching this video is hearing this at just the right moment. That no, you are not losing your mind. No, you do not have to live with all of these symptoms that are making your day-to-day life miserable. There is someone who will listen to you. There's someone who is there to help you. And I think it's Midi Health. So there is a link down in the description box. It's just to their website where you can go check it out, see if they take your insurance, make sure it's accepted in your state, all those things. And maybe it's the step you need to take control of your own health. So it's not as life-changing as a fabulous new summer weight sweater like this one. This one is actually pretty cool. I think it's a little more important. So I wanted to take this moment to bring you this video It is sponsored by Midi Health, and I'm hoping that at least it helps one of you feel a little bit better about your everyday. So thank you for hanging out with me today. While normally I end by saying I hope that you had some fun, today I really hope that you found something that you feel will empower you to take control of your health. And I would love to hear from y'all. How are you doing with all this stuff? If you have any questions, if I can address them, I absolutely will. We can talk amongst ourselves in the comments. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.